Now let's talk about another service that's called AWS XRay. So when by default, some people do debugging in production, so when your application is actually deployed, the good old way, you would test locally, then you would add log statements anywhere, maybe look into CloudWatch logs, then you would redeploy in production, and then see if you can find the problem this way. And the problem is that we have logs from different services and different applications. Doing log analysis is very hard because we have to combine everything. So if you have one application that's called a big monolith, so one giant application, it's sort of easy to do debugging. But if you have distributed services that are connected through SQS queues, SNS topics, they're decoupled and so on, it becomes really, really hard to trace and see what is happening within your system. So you have no common view of your entire architecture, but to solve that problem, you can use AWS XRay. So with XRay, you're going to be able to do a tracing and get visual analysis of your application. So XRay, once you enable it on your services, then you will get a full picture of what is happening for each service and see where they're failing, their performance, and in case one request goes wrong, you will be able to visualize it directly into the XRay console. So the XRay advantages is to do troubleshooting of the performance through the bottlenecks, or to understand the dependencies in a microservice architecture because they're all connected, as you saw in the previous graph. We can pinpoint a service issue with tracing, and review a specific request behavior and find the errors and exceptions for that request. We can know if we're meeting or not our service level agreement or SLA, meaning are we replying on time for all the requests, and if we are being throttled, if we're being slowed down, where is it happening, in which service, and finally, what or which users are going to be impacted by these outages. So XRay really is great when you see distributed tracing, troubleshooting, and you want to have a service graph. That's it. It's a more complicated service to use, so I will not do any hands-on, but you get a high-level overview that will be enough for the exam. So I hope you like this lecture, and I will see you in the next lecture.